You're listening to Hunting the Frontlines, part of the Prayin and Slayin podcast network. This show is led by retired Army Sergeant Justin Wilson and dedicated to the men and women hunters who serve or have served in the U.S. military and chase game wherever they're stationed. From on-base hunts to wild ground just outside the wire, Hunting the Frontlines is your go-to resource for scouting new terrain, learning the ropes, and making the most of every opportunity at your next duty station. Now let's dive in.
Welcome back, everybody, to Hunting the Frontlines podcast. I'm your host, Justin Wilson, and today's episode is going to be a little different. We're kind of doing an update / answering some questions from our last guest, Jeremy Bell. So we're going to get on here and talk a little bit about, go a little further into depth with hunting public ground, but in that we're also going to cover some questions that came in from different listeners and viewers, and get them all the answers we can, and hopefully, maybe we'll get even more questions out of this episode. So grab your popcorn, a drink, and grab a nice comfy seat and get prepared. This is gonna be a good one right here. Well, man,
what's up, buddy?
Let me say, man, it's good to have you back on already.
Hey, you're gonna love. I don't know if you've seen my Facebook yet, but I just found two studs on public, just like literally on the way back.
Really?
Yeah, I just posted them.
Nice.
Look at it.
I tell you what, just drop a pin. I'll make sure I don't go in there. I'll keep it safe for you.
My phone died when I seen them.
Yeah, sure. So, you know what, man? I tell you what, I've had a lot of people calling me and talking about the last episode.
Good.
It turned out really well. On the other side of that coin, got a lot of questions now.
Yes, we do.
So, first things first, I didn't even know this place existed until this question come up. Yellowwood State Forest.
Yeah.
I don't even know where it's at. So Evan Michael went on and asked the question on Spotify. He wants to know, pretty much from what I gathered from the question, he sees deer on camera there all the time, but then when hunting season comes around, they kind of disappear. You've hunted it before, so I'll let you answer this because I have no idea. I don't even know where the place is at.
Well, Yellowwood State Forest actually starts and begins, I want to say, just south of Martinsville, up against the Morgan Monroe State Forest, which is also a big chunk of public. And it goes all the way south. I hunt, I actually have a camera right now. I just put in a piece of Yellowwood the other day. And it goes all the way south. Past Bloomington into a little bit butting up against the Hoosier, and then you have these small couple 100-acre blocks here and there. But a majority of the Yellowwood State Forest piece is one ginormous piece that extends basically east of Bloomington all the way up to almost Martinsville, up in that area. Now, as far as deer, so when I first moved to Bloomington, obviously, last people that know that I came from a different area.
Yes.
My very first trip down here, I picked one single road that started in Martinsville in the Morgan Monroe State Forest, and it went all the way down. Mm-hmm. And I believe the road was Du Bois Ridge or something like that. Just a really long road, but that's a tip in itself. That road by itself does exist, and there's thousands of acres in Yellowwood on both sides. But I just picked the road and I went straight south, and I was marking stuff left and right. And a lot of what I found in Yellowwood is they clear cut a lot of it not that long ago. So a lot of it's, growed up really thick. And what I personally did, and the way that I'm currently hunting Yellowwood, is actually getting up against the transition line between these major cutover areas and the hardwoods. Because, I'm telling you, you're talking you're talking hundreds of acres of plots that are just cut out in the middle of these hardwoods, if you can find them. Some of them are right off the road,
Okay.
but usually you're going to find a couple stands around them. Um, I mean, there's deer everywhere in Yellowwood now. As far as the deer disappearing is not a new theory, or some people call it the October lull.
Yeah.
Me personally, from what I've seen and from the older people that I've listened to, and I've tried to take lessons from in myself. Sometimes I just be quiet and listen, and a lot of times what they'll tell you is it's the shift in food patterns. So
Yep.
basically, what will happen is these deer will be, especially around Yellowwood. It doesn't matter if you go east or west, south or north. There's crops on every edge of it. So you'll have the deer that are in the deeper parts of it that are going to be browse feeders, that are going to be eating acorns or every green leaf they can till January 15th.
Yep.
But a majority of the deer that I hunt the edges around Yellowwood, they go down to the crop grounds. Um, and then once the acorns start dropping, leaves start changing, the beans start turning yellow, or even some of the farmers start taking the corn out. That's usually a little later, but those feeding patterns will change. They'll go from, well, down here to that very first acorn tree dropping, and that very first acorn tree could be in the transition path to the croplands a half mile away. Um,
Yeah.
but one thing that I will say is they do disappear on my trail cameras. It happens every single year to me. It doesn't matter. And they usually always come back
Yep.
um, at some point. Now, it's hard to guess when, but it's going to be sometime in November. They're going to come back to their summer range and check that.
Yep.
But it's hard to say when, and that's where that's where that research. If you can find that feed tree or maybe where they moved to, and it's harder than it is. I mean, it's harder than to do.
Hmm.
But finding where they go is a major question. A lot of bucks do it. Don't get discouraged when it happens because, like I tell myself, my buck may have left, but someone else's buck has also left their property
Yep.
or, their public area. And so that's what I hope for is, yeah, I have, and that's why I've shifted so much from naming deer or one specific deer, get focused on it because a lot of
Yeah.
times they disappear.
Well, you know, now that you say that, I think back to a conversation we had. I'm not going to say where, but a certain area we want to hunt this year. You made the same comment about it. And
Yeah.
it was all about talking to the local farmers to find out when they're going to start picking crops.
Yeah, and trying to be in the woods when that happens.
Yes. And that's, even here. So, like my place, private ground,
Mhm.
I've got a buck on camera now, pretty frequent.
Yep.
But I know in about probably 3 weeks, he's going to disappear. They do every year here because I can't hold them on this piece. I've got food, water, and cover here, but they're still going to the crop fields. So, like you said, I'm completely surrounded by them.
Yep.
But I know when I drive down the back road over here and I see the farmers picking the crops, I need to turn around and go back home and get my butt in the woods because they're going to be coming in to what little bit of food I got here. So that's the biggest thing, and I've really started looking at that now that me and you've been talking so much, and we did the last episode, we're doing this episode. I've learned a lot just over the last month from you. Now every time I look at public ground, I start looking for crop fields around.
Absolutely.
I did the same thing at Patoka Lake. I've got me a little spot out there. I found now there's from where I'm hunting to the nearest crop field's probably 500 yards.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I've got water on this side of me, food behind me. They got to travel right past me to get to both.
I'll touch on that. Okay. I was a firm believer that bucks
Mm-hmm.
do not travel very far from food, and I was wrong about that.
Yeah.
I saw a study that was conducted just the other day of a buck summer pattern, and every single day he's traveling over a mile to
Yeah.
get to the crop fields.
Yeah.
So
They
keep
will.
that in mind too.
Yep. And I've had a few buddies of mine ask me the same thing that Evan asked. I keep getting these deer on camera, and it's not just even on public; it's on private too. Man, I'm getting all these bucks on camera this year at my place, and then season comes around, they're gone. They'll come back. They will come back. Trust me. The biggest thing you can have in your area, you may not have the bucks on camera right now, but as long as you got doe on camera,
absolutely,
that's all you need. Because if you've got food anywhere around you, like you said, we talked about it last time, acorns. They love acorns. If you've got acorns around and you're in a pretty thick little area, doe are going to be all over it. If the doe are there, the buck will be back. They will be back. You may not see them for a month. They'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, you don't know either who's hunting that private ground that butts up to the public.
Or how they're hunting it.
Exactly. They could push them right to you.
They could be stinking their place up. No clue what they're doing out there kicking sticks.
Yep.
And there you will probably find a lot of these guys that spend a little bit of time in the woods. You'll probably hear a story or two that say, well, that dude ran them right to me.
Yep. And that's why I always say, don't give up on a spot. If you put a camera up, you're getting a lot of deer on camera, you're seeing a lot of sign, all that, don't give up on it. Just because the deer disappear, they'll be back. They like that area for a reason.
So I'm actually locating does. That's my main focus right now is does.
Yep. Like I said, I know my core areas on my piece that I hunt here at my house. I know, where they're moving through, where they're coming from. But when I go out and scout other areas, I look for sign. I look for trails. I mean, when I say trails, I mean highways.
Yeah.
Because obviously something's using those highways.
Yeah.
I love finding old rubs, old scrapes, stuff like that. That's great to find. But the first thing now I look for oak trees. First thing. I look for thick oak trees. And another thing I look for too, you actually sent me some of the questions you've gotten. And one of them was about thermals. I look for helium balloons now.
Every time.
Yep.
Every time you see a balloon, mark it.
Yep. I never knew that until 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And it was in one of my hunt magazines I was reading over and a guy was talking about it. I thought, what? No way. So I'm out here scouting my property stuff. And I found a balloon on the ground. Well, it was on the border of my property and Marathon's. Well, a buddy of mine hunts back there too. He ended up shooting a big mature buck in there. Imagine that. Good thermals. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things to look for, but I feel like a lot of people they get discouraged way too easy.
Sure.
And I mean, it's not hard to, especially, if all through the spring, summer, all that, you're getting deer on camera all day long and all of a sudden they just kind of disappear. No. It's kind of hard not to get discouraged. But my biggest, I don't want to say piece of advice. My biggest thing is just don't give up on it. Keep going with it. Keep pushing. It'll work out eventually.
So I'll give you an example of that. So a couple years ago, this would have been 2020, maybe 2021. I don't know. But I had found, very similar to the basic ways that I find everything. Come November, if I have had a rough season, there's nothing wrong with one before it comes November. There ain't nothing wrong with taking a break, right?
No.
If you're tired or you're like last year, I had a set a goal, 150 miles of scouting all summer long. By the time October 15th come and I had not killed one of them deer, I was burnt.
Yep.
And so come October 20th, I took, a buck on our place. That was, a decent deer. Really, I mean, I don't want to short him for what he was, but he just wasn't one of the ones that I was looking for. And the one that on my place actually came out right in front of my house about a week later. But anyway, I was hunting in November and I just seen this bottom that I needed to check out. And so I went down in there the very next one evening and hung my set. And I had a goal with it being 25 the next morning. I was going to be back in that stand because I got down, I drove a road, I seen this bottom. It said go. The instinct builds up. The more you hunt, the instinct builds up. It said hunt that. And there was a truck in the other area that I wanted to go to. And so I went down in there, and the very first morning I killed a really nice buck. Go back the very next morning to get my set, and I step foot on the creek bank and I look up, and you've probably seen the video of that. I mean, he was like King Kong, and he stood 62 yards from me. And so I put a camera in there the very next summer. I got him, his brother, and another buck all on camera. I probably had 200 pictures of them all the way up until August 15th. When August 15th rolled around, all of them were gone, and the camera was on a crop field. So
Wow.
it may not necessarily be that crop. It could be that they're shifting to the opposite ends of a property for a different crop.
Yeah.
And he did not come back until November 5th. My buddy caught him on camera about 100 yards away from mine. And
Wow.
so, I still haven't seen that deer. And I killed another deer there. That one I have on the channel, the first self-filmed buck I had was in that very spot that
Yep.
I was looking for the big one, but they just disappear, and it's a fascination that stumps many a deer hunter.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, man, I try to, especially I got a lot of friends that they'll be the same way. They got the instinct to find a spot they love. They'll go in, put up cameras. They'll even start getting tree stands put in, whatever, and then they get a buck on camera they want. That's the only buck I'm going to kill this year. I'm going for that one, whatever.
they hyper focus.
Yes, and then maybe a week, 2 weeks before season, he disappears. Well,
And then
then
you're
instead,
like, what am I gonna do now?
yep. Well, they'll go in there, they'll still hunt, but after 3 or 4 sits, well, now I got to figure something else out. I got to pivot. Okay, that's fine. You should always, have ways to pivot during hunting, but don't
That's
give
where
up on that
public
spot.
comes. That's where public comes in.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like you always want to have a fallback, but you don't want to give up on your spot either. Though I mean, if you've got a lot of deer sign, a lot of deer movement, they're going to come back. You just got to be patient. And I mean, 2 years ago, I hunted my butt off, and for 7 or 8 days straight, I'm hunting Missouri, I'm hunting Illinois, I'm hunting all these different states, and I got burnt out.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm taking a break. I took 4 or 5 days off. I felt refreshed, went back in, deer were moving again. Deer were moving
Yep.
again. I was like, all right, good. I got back in the right time. Sometimes you just got to take that mental break.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Especially if you're truly, it's like at this point, I'm really and truly dedicated to the woods. Like, and I have
yeah,
been my whole life, but I'm at that point in life to where I've got this next window to truly enjoy it,
yeah,
and that's what I'm gonna do. And that's where, and but like I said last year, man, I had already done so much come season that of course, you don't really want to burn an area up too much before, or in that first couple weeks of season. So it's a very slippery slope, thin, blade when it comes to, burning yourself out, trying to make sure you have plan A, plan B, um, and then still, put all your sets up and you take it down, you come and go. And
yep,
in my case, I got really frustrated with setting up an entire stand, camera setup, and then, you know, not only did they move in this place, but they moved in the other place and the other place. And then early October is rough, man, unless you know
yeah.
exactly what he's doing and you know exact and you can get in there on him without spooking him. It's tough no matter what.
Well, and I don't think this is just me speaking. I'm not a deer biologist. I'm not an expert on this at all, but I've got a lot of years of hunting, and I don't think you should ever give up on a spot in October to begin with.
Mm-mm.
Because everyone knows, and it's not always true. Sometimes it's a little later, maybe a little earlier, but normally that last week of October, that's when things are going to start getting exciting.
Well, see, a
And
lot
like
of guys they'll get it confused though. They'll go from giving up on a spot. They may burn it out, in that
yes,
process.
yes, And that's another thing too. I can't. I'll give out all the knowledge that I have to people, but I can't follow you to the stand and see how you're getting in and out of your areas,
That's
how
it.
you're sitting there. Are you spraying down? Are you doing all the things you need to do? I can't come and watch you do that.
Yeah.
I can give you tips and tricks on some of this stuff, but that's about it. I've got 30 acres here. I try to hunt just a little bit. I'm getting this whole public ground hunting now, and I've done it here at my place. I've burnt out a spot in one season because I was after one certain buck, and he was always in that area. So I'm always in there, and it's like we were playing cat and mouse. I'd be in there, he'd be gone. He'd be in there, I'd be gone. And it's like eventually, it's like, okay, he's had to have seen me come in or smell me come in. So it's like, okay, I got to find somewhere else to sit, and I did. Well, I got him. I ended up getting him eventually.
Nice.
So it's just one of those things. You got to be really careful on things, but you can't give up too easy. So
no, I would certainly suggest him in that situation. If you can locate him, that's number one, right?
Yeah.
A lot, you may not have the property to be able to, like your situation, and even in my place. So we have 160 something here, but a lot of it's alfalfa and clover.
Yeah.
But I have 2 dogs, which really hurt me. If I didn't have them, I'd see deer everywhere. But on the back side of our property is an old golf course. Well, it's been bought, and now all of the fairways are crops. So, needless to say, my place is now the thick bedding area sanctuary is on my place.
Yeah.
So I know all the does that I'm getting on camera. I've got a doe back here with twins right now. I've got another doe back here. I've got a lot of does, a couple of them that you can identify.
Yeah.
And like you said, they're probably hanging out closer to there. But come November, just like last year, I told you I don't hunt my place, and I messed up. There was 2 booners here together, not fighting, and I missed them because I was the same way. My place ain't it. I'm going somewhere else. Well, it happened. It is what it is.
So that's the way it always goes, man. It's you can put all the time in you want, but there still has to be that little bit of luck that goes with it. That's just the way it is.
I live a lot on luck. I tell you, everybody's, I understand it's a slippery slope and people don't like to admit it, but the way I hunt, I understand if you have 20 or 30 days in a row, maybe even 14 in a row. I don't think luck plays as much into it, but when you're hunting like me, I really do need luck. I really do. And so I'm a firm believer in it because it's not all skill when you have to find them. I mean, that is what it is. But for him to walk, especially with a bow, for him to walk right where you need that shot in that moment, it's luck.
Oh yeah, it is.
I mean,
right place, right time.
I've killed many a deer, right place, right time.
Yep.
Great point. That's another one. Yeah, you can be in there one time. My grandpa always used to say the best chance to kill a big one is your first time in there.
It is. It is. Because they're not used to you being there. The more you go into it, the more scent you put out. So I want you to explain it not only to me, but to everyone else. Because me and you have talked on the phone outside of the podcast a lot.
Yeah,
and
a lot.
I've learned a lot just talking to you on the phone or even through text. What do you look for? So explain it, because I know you do a lot of map scouting, a lot of boots on ground, all that.
Yeah.
Tell me how you get to that point though. What do you do? How do you find a piece you want to check out? What do you look for to say, okay, I want to check this area out? Explain that to me, because it just blows my mind.
Okay, so and again, I'm 40 now, so you're talking 25 years of an instinct that is built up. So in order saying what I do now really isn't going to get anywhere to that point. But going back all those years ago, I turned to public land because it was all I had. Yeah. And so, my grandpa taught me the basics. Hey, this is a track. Hey, this is a scrape. Hey, this is a rub. But 98% of what my grandpa did was sit here and don't move.
Oh, yeah.
If you do, You ain't coming back. So,
Yep.
I started cutting my teeth, and it didn't matter what it was. I picked a piece of property, and I went from corner to corner. It was a big square chunk, and so I broke it down. And this corner over here was a swampy, um, had them big horse apple trees in it. So it was just a
Yep.
swampy area. And then the bottom section was a lot of crop fields and a lot of thick sage and stuff like that butting up against crop fields. And they had a lot of trails cut through it. And it butted up against the Big Blue River. But Big Blue is not really big, it's just a little
Yeah.
bit. Either way, it's water. And
Yeah.
so the other side, the third corner, is a lot of the as if like your smaller saplings just in rows.
Yep.
And then there was three giant fields that they did beans or corn in at that time. And every time I went by there, there was just cars galore in every single field. And you got small strips of wood like this. And I stayed out of there. I never even went in there. But in the fourth corridor, there was an old schoolhouse, and this
Yep.
old school had broken down, and the railroad tracks ran behind it, and they had not been active for years. And so um, I was driving one day, and that's where all the hardwoods are. So that's your big mature hardwoods was in that quadrant. And so there was a creek that separated the road, this really really thick overgrown CRP, and the hardwoods. And I said, well, walk the water. And so
Yep.
after all of those places, I found that all of the deer sign, no matter what, normally was usually down by the water.
Okay.
And so after years, I would, just hunt next to the water, and you would see deer. And then I would have to make a move to get closer, or I'd see them far off and I would have to get closer.
Hmm.
And I would just slowly eliminate being too far or not being in the game enough by moving closer and closer, and then slowly by doing that, I started to harvest deer. Um, so fast forward to all these years later, and then Onyx and apps and all this comes out.
Yep.
99% of any piece of property that I do, I'll go to the state's website. Every state will have an identifier website, usually an interactive map at this point.
Yep.
Um, and for years and years, I was religious on, man, why would I travel anywhere? I got a piece of public right in my backyard. I ain't going nowhere. Well, that didn't work out because there was never the type of deer I was looking for on that piece of property.
Yep.
And so I started traveling, and I would always go to the same thing. I would start at water, pick a piece of property and from these interactive maps within a certain range, and then I would find the water. A lot of these were lakes, sloughs, uh, Patoka River that's coming
Yep.
out of, that's another good one. There's a big, swampy bottom over there. Um, I like those river bottoms and the creek bottom bucks. I like hardwood deer too, and the big hill deer, and then I'll go hunt them if it's not paying off. But most of what I do all starts around water because you can see the sign a lot easier if they're coming and going. They'll have
Yep.
these major slides that develop almost like a beaver slide, and
Yep.
you can almost backtrack from there where they're going or coming from. And then the main thing is just you know just if you get it, if you see a piece, just go look at it. Like, I mean, it ain't nothing but just a day. Take a day,
Yep.
go look at it, and start to find any sign, any deer sign. It don't matter if it's a little track, big track. Find deer sign, and then from there, because I'm not only looking for deer, I will try to go backwards. But I'm a most recent information guy like you. I'm not, I like the old rubs and stuff, but I need to see something now. And so
Yes.
I'll try to find that fresh sign. And it takes a long time to develop that. I almost don't have to like my brain and the instinct are two different things because they fight each other sometimes, but I will always go with the instinct. And so, I'll turn this way and I won't know why until I get there. And
Yep.
then, usually you find the sign. And that's how I attack every single piece of property. I find the water, rivers, creeks, walk them. A lot of these areas in the early summertime will be dried up, or there'll be areas you can see where deer track across the mud and they'll just be tore up. And that's really how I start finding most of the places I hunt.
Well, I noticed when you posted the pictures yesterday, you were by the water.
Hmm.
I was like, "Yep, he's by water now, Scout." And I thought, okay, it makes sense. We talked about that last time.
Let me tell you what happened to me yesterday.
All right, I got to hear this.
So I'm going because at this point, I want to know where the crops are, right? So
Yeah.
I'm trying to identify what crops, especially in these fields, you cannot see from the road. You're driving by, the trees are grown up, you can't see them.
Yep.
So I went down there and you got to cross this creek, and I was already finding some really good sign right off the road. And this is normal for me.
Yeah.
Um, and so I get up in the field and it's 8 foot tall grass, not a single crop in it. And you're talking, I don't know, maybe a 50-acre field that, I'm thinking is full of food.
Oh.
And so I'm walking through it and I'm getting stuff up my nostrils. I have my waders on. And so I'm like, well, I'll just walk the creek. And I'm sitting there videoing, and I take this video about how I'm walking in the creek because it's cooler. And, other than a few logs here and there, it's normally a pretty easy walk and it controls scent anyway. And I mean, as soon as I hit that record button, you see me at the end, I hit the record and I'm going down in the process. Right all the way up to my dadgum nose in a 10-foot hole. Man, and my waders filled up with water and I was 100 pounds heavier. And I had to laugh. But man, it was fun. It was fun. But I got them cameras down in there though.
you, your luck sounds like mine because that's the same stuff that happens to me. Same stuff. So tell me some of the questions because I know when we started talking last year, it was during turkey season.
Yeah.
Now I know then you were getting a lot of questions from other guys in different hunting groups and stuff about how you do this, how you're successful. So what are some of the questions you get from these guys?
Well, one of like for an example of like one of the questions, besides on the holding the deer part,
Yeah.
that's hard. I don't hold deer on public land. It's very hard. They already know their range and they know
Yeah.
their land better than we do. So the holding the deer thing would be out. But a lot of the questions center focused around, you know, sign, the right kind of sign, and then um, like the differences between how you hunt areas as the season progresses along. So I'll give you an example. A gentleman asked the difference between, like, how would he know the difference if a big buck between a little buck and a big buck sign? And you know, one of the older guys that is a deer hunter, I believe it was Stan Potts, was talking about a deer, individual deer track in itself.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say you can't identify from a deer track, but he's a believer that you see them dew claws deep in the wood, in the mud, or whatever. You see them two dew claws instead of just them 2 points. That's probably going to be your mature. He ain't going. He may not have a giant rack, but that's going to be a
Exactly.
buck.
Yep.
Um, and so what I was trying to explain to him was one, that, and then my what I like to tell guys is as a deer, when it comes to your sign, besides teaching them how to read the direction of a rub or a scrape, it's hard to tell with scrape sometimes because they like to twirl
Oh
and
yeah.
and do what they do. But a lot of times direction of kicking leaves, that initial kick will be the strongest,
Yep.
and the direction he came from. So, but a rub facing this side of the tree, leaving a bedding area, probably means he hit that at night going to the crop fields. Coming
Yep.
back in, if it's going into the bedding area, it usually means that he's coming in the morning, hitting that sign. And the difference between a little buck and a big buck, in my opinion, of course, is just from what I've seen, is that a little deer can almost rub all these little trees, and a big deer, even your biggest of big deer, I've seen them rub little trees.
Oh yeah.
But one thing I haven't seen, I ain't never seen no little buck rub no telephone pole or even smaller than that, and then have the deep gouges, and then it be a certain height. Uh,
Yes.
you look at those things, and that's one major sign to know that you're on the track of a bigger deer, and you're probably pretty close if you have multiple rubs and scrapes, these giant scrapes that are both size.
Yeah.
um, and that's one thing. A lot of people, they'll go into the woods, they'll be super pumped. I got this fresh scrape, but the scrape's, little bitty, and then they'll see these spikes in younger bucks, and sure, a mature buck's liable to check it if he's in the area, but if you step outside of that scrape, let's go 30 yards into the thicker stuff now, maybe where you
Yep.
can't see it, you'll find that one beech tree, and they'll have this giant community scrape, and that's off of the main trail.
Yep.
They have their own trail system, which is another question that I had. Um, you know, do bucks travel, the main trail? I have seen so many times where they don't come anywhere, they don't come out anywhere close to where
Yep.
those and little ones do. And that buck that I found that track yesterday, he was inside the bedding area. It's about 20 yards away from the main trail, and he was in the thicker stuff. And he had this hole that was
Yep.
going through this thick stuff. And so I hung the camera on it. I got a doe there this morning, but I haven't got him yet. But yeah, I mean that's it right there. It's just sign. That's a major thing. And then a lot of the questions, from there would be like, scent, and whether I believe that all this ozone or any of that type stuff, which I don't. I don't really believe in it. I believe your mouth is the number one thing that puts off the biggest scent, and if you can cover that up, I believe you got bigger chance. I don't use scents at all because, in my opinion, the wind's not supposed to blow where I think he is anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know, I I don't use that stuff. So, um, and the differences in seasons, that's another one.
Yeah.
The difference between how you would hunt a piece of public early season compared to mid season, that May November time frame, or even later season. And early season is food, food, whether it be crops, acorns, thermal hubs, that midday range to where, he's coming down to check an area, getting amped up, maybe not necessarily full go yet, but um your rut, obviously he's running. He's chasing. You got to be on downwind sides of bedding areas. Your thickest areas, your best areas, be on the downwind side, and you're liable to run into them.
Yep.
And then I'm a firm believer about December 5th, December 10th in Indiana. There's a major shift, and they start going back to food. That's when you'll find them rolling into these bean fields,
Yes.
corn fields. Uh, and so there's quite a few questions as far as that you get, but those are probably some of the bigger ones that I get.
Well, you touched on most of the ones I get. It's about the same stuff, and it's like I always tell my buddies. I've always heard from the old timers
That's it.
that a deer is a slave to his stomach. That's just what they are until the rut kicks in.
Yeah.
After the rut, it's right back to the same thing: slave to the stomach.
And if I
I've
only
always
had
heard,
only had a month, I'd probably be jump, 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 jump.
yep, yep. I'd be the same way. But it's like those are normally the questions I get, and a lot of it too. A lot of the information that you've put out with the questions you've got and I've got, it doesn't just go for public ground. It can go for private ground too. It can go for
Yeah,
both.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, I'll give you this. I will give you this. Because I was always one of those guys. I wanted to get my own piece of ground. I could hunt it all the time. Not have to worry about everybody else. Public ground is 10 times harder than private.
Don't say that. No, you get chastised for saying that now.
People can say whatever they want. They can chastise me. I don't care because it's the truth. Public ground is so much harder to hunt because there's so many more distractions. There's just a lot of stuff going on. And that's the one thing me and you had talked about before about an area we won't name. You know, guys want to go, but they want to hunt right off the edge of the road. Now, you do have a chance of killing something big there by the road. You do. I'm not saying you don't. But a lot of times, guys will come in because people are lazy. We are lazy. They'll come in and just want to go 50 to 100 yards off the road and set up. Well, a lot of times they'll push them back to, further back in there. And sometimes they won't. Sometimes you get those guys that go 5 miles back there and push them up to the front. But I will say public ground is a lot harder to hunt than private. It is. I mean, and anybody that wants to argue that, we can debate it all day long because on my place here, I've got nobody going in there. Yeah. But I can pick a piece out by Patoka Lake, or me and you actually talked about
some of the Hoosier national pieces around you.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys that hunt that because, so like you said before, you didn't want to hunt yours. You grew up only hunting public because that's all you had.
Right.
That's half the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
Half the state of Indiana, they're hunting the same way. They're hunting public grounds. That's all they have.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys. I mean, I know you've seen it like I have, and I know some of the listeners could agree with it too. When you go out opening morning, you'll see, like out by my grandpa's old farm, it's all part of Martin County National Forest.
Yeah.
There's pickup trucks all alongside the road, both sides, just sitting. And then when gun season starts, you see the pumpkin army going in the woods.
Yeah.
So it's harder to hunt public ground. And that's why I really wanted to do this episode with you, because you are very successful with what you do and you're good at it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've got friends of mine, hey man, I'm going to go hunt out in Hoosier this year. What do you suggest? All I can tell you is watch your scent, watch your entry and exit routes in and out. And that's really all I can tell you. You look for crop fields around somewhere and try to get, as close to those as you can. But that's it. I don't have the experience like you do with public ground. I'm still learning myself.
I guarantee you, if they can find a piece of public that butts up against crops,
yeah,
and you get on that line, you're going to find these trails, because 9 times out of 10 this time of year it's thick.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There you go. You're going to find these trails that'll give you a starting point. It'll be clear as day where these deer are coming and going.
Oh yeah.
And that's where you just start there. It's I know it's intimidating, and a lot of people bring a bad name to public nowadays, especially with some of the yahoos that are on public.
Oh yeah.
But you can get in there and you certainly can be successful.
Oh yeah, you can. And a lot of it too, man, a lot of guys, that's what I like about you the most is, number one, you'll give out any tips or tricks you have. You'll teach people, you'll take people scouting, you'll take them hunting. You're not selfish. You're not going to say, hey, this is my spot, I'm not letting anybody in. You're not like that.
Too much of that right now.
A lot of guys are like that. A lot of guys, which I can understand it though. I can. I'm not really defending them. I guess I am in a way. It's like they've spent their whole life scouting these areas out, and they go in, they killed the biggest buck they've ever killed. They want to keep going back. So I get it, but you're not like that. And that's the reason why I reached out to you when I did last year. I was like, man, you know what? This guy, I see him taking people hunting for the first time. I see him doing this. You know what? Number one, I want to get him to come on the podcast. I got to have him on and talk to him. But number two, I want to pick your brain. I want to learn myself.
Yeah.
Because there's no better person to learn from than somebody that goes out and applies the things that they live by every single day.
Yep.
And that's why I laughed when you sent me a message. Yeah, I'm out scouting today. I was like, oh, here we go. Time to start.
Yeah. So me and Jesse Lipscomb, the guy that got his house caught on fire, we actually started scouting this new piece of public property that Indiana just gave back to the state, or however it opened up. It's a big chunk of acres, like 4,500 acres, and he went stomping out there, and I sent him a bunch of pins just like I do here. And this is a perfect way to explain. Okay, so I've never seen this property, still have not been there to this day. Yep. But all I did was I pulled up the map and I pulled up the exact same, I looked for the same things. I found the river, I found creeks, sloughs, swamps.
Yep.
You can see where water is maybe went. You can see where, you have your little cut over area in your hardwood. And I just
Yep.
started dropping pins. Just then Jesse would drop his. Well, I think I'm gonna go here. Or I used to hunt here back before they closed it. So I'm gonna go here, and if I don't see nothing there, I'm gonna go check your pin. And the first place he went had 6 cell cameras, 150 yards.
Wow.
So he decided he ain't gonna hang here. And I said, no, probably don't. Let's not do that. So he decided to walk. And I was like, why don't you get down close to that water and walk the edge of the water? And he was finding really, really good sign, but unfortunately the thick stuff just pinched the water so tight that he had to go back in the thick stuff to get out of it.
Yep.
But he was finding trails on that. But so he the next day went just driving down the road, and I mean just literally driving down the road, I believe. And he sent me a picture of this deer trail. And this deer trail was not, and it, mind you, this is going into the bushes off the
Yep.
road.
Yep.
Anybody driving this road, if you know what to look for, this deer trail in the picture was wide and it was high. And he went in there and it dropped off of the hill. I mean, it dropped off and it goes downhill into this thick stuff.
Yep.
And he said it was, just that it almost looked like not like one of those doe trails that's got a lot of traffic, but it had the right kind of traffic. No rubs, no scrapes, just that wide trail. Hung a camera the very first morning, yesterday or day before yesterday morning. I mean, just mucho grande,
You can tell by those trails.
just how wide they are. And all he did was just drive down the road on this new piece. And that's what mainly it's getting over the first overwhelming, man, this is 4,500 acres. Where do I start? Well, just go.
Yep.
Just go and start looking, and I bet you'll run into stuff that you like to see. Because in Indiana, one thing I found, these big deer love to rub trees along the side of the road.
Yes. Yes. I don't know why, but they do. They
Mhm.
love trees, fence posts, and telephone poles.
I seen that. I seen where was it? I want to say down somewhere in Orleans area. There's an Amish fence that's been rubbed by a big buck they have every year.
Yep.
Look like one of them hourglass.
Yep. Yep. I don't know why. I don't know why they do it, but they do. They love it. I don't get it.
You know something I'm gonna do on my place this year? You know, the old man, I believe is it the old man Ted that they I don't know if it's not Ted, it's the older guy that the THP guys have in Iowa. Um, Hunt, he hunts and films. Well, he does a horizontal rub.
Really?
So he'll set up 2 pieces of wood like this, and he'll set up a limb or a bigger tree, and he'll cut the tip of it, sticking off of that X. He'll cut it down almost like a point, and he'll just smear, a little stuff on it. He's killed
Really?
he's killed 3 or 4 bucks coming up to that horizontal rub just to smell it and rub that thing. So I'm thinking about trying something like
I'm
that.
gonna have to try that. I've never heard of that before, so I'm gonna give that a try.
Yeah, he actually look it up along with everybody else. They can look that up. They talk about it a lot. That horizontal rub
Yeah.
of his.
Well, I think too. Once me and you get together and go scout that special spot,
Yeah.
I want to set up a mock scrape on it and try it.
Oh, absolutely. It's time. It's time, y'all. I'm telling you, if y'all ain't getting them out there, it's time. Go ahead and get them out there and start putting your ropes. Because the more you do right now, the less you have to do then.
Well, see, and that's something too. Me and you talked about it last year. You hunted an area that I'm trying to get back into. We used to have access to it through private ground. We don't anymore. So I've got to get across the river, but we've got some old mock scrapes still over there. And it's so far back in there, people don't. I mean, there's no way to get to it unless you cross the river. A lot of guys don't want to cross it.
Yep, I will.
We've seen some giants back there. I mean, when I say giants, giants. So
I will hold my bow up above the water with my cell phone in my hand.
I just got to figure out how to get across the river with my bow, my pack, and my stand. That's the biggest thing. So I don't know.
Just grab your pack, throw it.
I just don't know if I'll be able to get it far enough. Yeah, I'll have to go back to my day. Yeah, I'll have to go back to my track and field days. But yeah, I think I'm going to go out. Which I got to go out here on my place tomorrow, and I've got 5 community scrapes on my property. I've never made a mock scrape on mine. I've always just used the community scrapes. I just let them up, and they destroy them every year. So I'm going to go out and freshen all those up, and then we just need to figure out when you want to get together and go do some scouting, because I leave actually a week from today. I'm heading to Aruba for a week, so I'll get back. I get back September.
There ain't nothing to hunt in Aruba, is it?
Yeah, there are beaches and ocean. That's what I'm hunting right there.
That'll be your rest and relaxation to get you pumped up.
Well, as soon as I get back, I jump into hunting because I'm hunting down in Kentucky. Season starts there the 6th.
Are you hunting public down there?
I've never hunted public down there. I'm hunting private, which I'm hunting on Fort Knox. I want to hunt public. I just don't. So I'll be honest. With all the medical stuff I've had go on, you know, I'm recovering from surgery. I had surgery in May. I don't like going to public down that far away from home by myself.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why I go on Fort Knox. I've got 2 buddies that live on Knox, so if something happens, they know where I'm at. If I'm not back by a certain time, I always text them, hey, I'm home. If I don't text them, because I'll go down there and stay for like a weekend. I'll just get a hotel room, stay the whole weekend, hunt, and I'll come home. If I don't text them, hey, I'm at the hotel, they know come looking for me.
Well, shoot. You end up in something down there. I may come video you. Because I'm not hunting Kentucky this year, but I'll come video. I believe that you can video in Kentucky without having to have a license. I'm not sure. I'd have to check.
Yeah, you can.
Which is another thing, guys. Don't forget, check your rules and regulations of every single state, every single season.
Yes.
They change quite often.
I'm glad you said that. So that's the one thing I've been trying to put into every single podcast, because I've dropped 2 now. I'm dropping this one early. So this one we're doing now, I plan on dropping hopefully next week, just to get it out there so I can answer some questions and stuff for people. And I want to get this information out before season comes in. So if there's a guy at home right now sitting there listening to it, he's like, man, I've never hunted public ground and what to do. He can listen to it and it'll give him some tips on what to do.
Yeah.
But that's something I've been trying to do every single time, and I keep forgetting this. I want to tell people, you got to check your rules and regulations.
That's it.
They change every single year. Every year.
And I would go a little bit further to say it is not a bad thing in the state of Indiana to make friends with your local CO. They are only there for a matter of fact. We did that hunting seminar last weekend.
Yes.
Me and Jason, me and Jason. The same CO, when I started hunting that piece of public 20 years ago, the same CO came out and answered questions for us, because there's a lot this year. Man, is there a lot. And there's a lot this year. And the same CO came, and he's on his way out, and he brought a new CO with him.
Yep.
So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, the rules are not something to play with. They change, especially with this year. There was a lot of questions, and I mean, they legalized pretty much everything, but there was a lot of questions on the legalization of that. There was a couple of questions on veterans hunting from one state to the other, on what kind of license they should have, or how that's, and I've got this all on video, which I'm going to be dropping here soon. It was a good question and answer session. The COs were probably up there 45 minutes, so it was really good.
This episode is powered by Dead Nuts Outdoors, makers of the most lifelike, lightweight, and weatherproof 2D archery targets in the world. That's right, we said 2D. We're talking full-size animals that brings the hunt to your backyard. Whether you're dialing in before the season or just burning daylight with your bow, Dead Nuts Targets makes practicing fun, training on full-size animals to ensure every rep in the backyard converts to your time spent in the field. Built to last, easy to haul, and 100% made in the USA, Dead Nuts Outdoors is a proud supporter of our veterans, investing in conservation, and they're rooted in building a better, more confident hunter every step of the way. They're proud supporters of the Prayin and Slayin podcast network, and you can get 10% off your next purchase at deadnutsoutdoors.com by tapping that link in the show notes. Dead Nuts is helping us all hit the spot, not the dot. Hit it, Dead Nuts. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Well, and that's so this podcast, I started this podcast for that reason.
Yeah.
Because myself, I know you did, you're slowing down now a little bit with it, and I understand why. And I'm starting to kind of slow down myself. I always go out of state and hunt every year.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
I always go somewhere. I mean, 2 years ago I was hunting Missouri and Illinois and all these other states together. Now I'm just going to kind of do it, okay, one state at a time. I'm going to do one state, take a little bit of time off. It's getting too much on me.
Well, I put it this way. I got tired of Indiana's 1 buck rule.
Yeah.
But very quickly I realized, okay, hold up, guys. Indiana is not a 1 buck state.
No, it's about 15.
So why in the world would I travel when I get it, Indiana's an unknown state, but when you go down on the piece of public, opening day of gun season, you will see every tag from the country.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Oh, yeah, you will.
Why would I travel anywhere else if I now get, as many buck tags that we are able to, if we're able to use the system? And that's why a huge thing that a lot of guys are messing. How do you have 6 buck tags?
Yeah.
And there's many opportunities available. And that's another thing that the CEOs are really, really, letting people know. Some of these hunts they don't have enough. You would be amazed at that, but he said some of these FWA hunts, there's not enough people showing up and so they're going to figure out something else with maybe take away some of these draw hunts on, and open it up just to a general public, something like that. But definitely check them rules and regulations. They ain't no joke. And the gray area, the thing about it is what you don't want to do, right, is you don't want to leave any discretion. The gray area is just too big in our state. So just make sure you, whether you're out of state or in state, make sure you check up on the rules every single year.
Yep. That's the one thing I've said a few times is rules change every year. And that's every state. They change certain things. That's why they do these
surveys.
They do the surveys because they want to see what are you guys experiencing in the woods? We're sitting in an office doing paperwork. What are you guys experiencing out there? Yeah. And that's why the whole bobcat, the new trapping season starting.
Well, I can't wait.
See, I'm not a trapper. I've never done it, so I'd like to start doing it because I've got 5 or 6 bobcats here at my place.
Yeah, I had to release a big old male. Let me tell you, that was fun.
Oh, I bet that was a blast.
So I was trying to get raccoons off of here because raccoons and coyotes, they killed my chocolate lab. You know that. Not the raccoons, but the coyotes did. So I was really trying to get them. And it's ironic because like the night before I was, because as far as bait goes, you want to listen to these older guys that, again, I'm attracted to older guys. I don't really listen to younger guys. Nothing against the younger guys. I want to learn what they know. This one trapper, pretty popular on YouTube, uses a certain type of bait. And he had caught a bobcat and he had this contraption and he let that thing go. I was like, oof. And I'd be dadgum if I didn't go and check my trap that very next day. And I mean, laying on the ground, his arm hanging, just chilling, was this bobcat. And then I go, and he turned his head because he was laying flat on the ground with his arm up, just hanging because he had done, flipped around so much. Then he saw me and he came alive. I didn't have the handle contraption thing to where you can reach down there. And, I'm like, begin with. I don't know what they're so protecting them, for, but
Uh,
I grew up in Mississippi where it didn't matter. You could kill as many as you wanted.
oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I never really saw a lot of bobcats around here when I was a kid. So I don't know if it's just that their numbers were so low. They protected them for all this time to get their numbers back up. But I mean, we had just in my backyard last summer, we had a mom and a kitten not 20 feet off our back deck. I
But
was like,
for
man, that's
what?
getting a
Like
little too close to
bobcats don't do anything. Nobody hunts them. They don't provide food. Like
Mm-mm.
I'm not quite sure what they're protecting them for. That's
I don't know.
weird.
I don't know. I don't know what the deal is.
I would
But yeah,
actually prefer them to protect the brand new armadillos we have coming up through southern Indiana.
I haven't seen one yet. I've been looking. I haven't seen one.
Someone posted a video from Owen County yesterday.
Wow. See, I haven't. I've been waiting. I'm waiting to see some elk up in here. That's what I
Yeah.
keep waiting on.
See, I think we could hold them, but I don't think that they would make it. I think they don't have enough to hide. We need bigger stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see that. Now, I will tell you, I had a pretty cool experience last year, and if it had been gun season, I'd have been going home with some good stuff. Sitting in my stand, I heard something moving. I already killed a buck, so I'm just out looking for doe. I just want to put a doe down to put some meat.
Yeah, you just hunting. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of, I'm breaking the number one cardinal rule. I'm on my phone. So I'm sitting on my phone. I hear something. I was like, oh man, I bet I'm getting busted again. So I slowly put my phone in my pocket. I look up and I just see something pass by. It's down a creek. And the way the water's washed the creek out, it's kind of deep over here. And there's a big tree there. Well, I could see was something just like the top of a head. I thought, what was that? So I'm standing up, looking. 4 cows come walking by the creek bed. I know it's not happening, but in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, where's the camera and where's the microphone? Somebody's got to be playing a joke on me. So I'm looking around. I start giggling to myself. So I'm taking pictures and video of this, sent it to my wife. I was like, well, I guess we're opening a new cattle farm. But here comes these 4 cows just walking. And I'm thinking, okay, where did they come from? I mean, I know my Amish neighbor over here, he's got cows. And I know the farmer back over here's got cows. I'm like, I don't know where they came from. So I can't really decide on whose they are. So I just started posting pictures on Facebook. Hey, who lost the cows? Nobody ever responded. And I thought, man, I may go back down there and get one. I think I'm going to go keep one. I went back looking, they were gone. So I don't know where they disappeared to. But it's like,
finders,
man,
what is that? Finders, keepers, cross my fence or something?
Yep. Yep. I told the wife, I said, I'm taking the tractor down there. I'm taking the tractor and a rope. I'm getting one. I'm bringing a cow back. We're going to have some beef.
Yeah. And I tell you what, something else that, one of the main questions that I wanted to touch base on was I have a friend of mine who, man, I tell you, he can go out there and he can sling arrows for hours. And this younger guy, he messaged me and he was like, I've been doing this and been doing my scouting and I've waited real hard. And 2 times, matter of fact, I believe it was 3 times. 3 times in a row, he missed a deer because he, and I was the same way, right? When you transition from, and everybody matures at some point, which if you're a young guy and you haven't reached that point yet, it'll come.
Yeah.
But when I started passing smaller deer, and then I passed all the does, I never shot a doe. That was just a rule of mine. Well, I'll put it this way: if there's 6 or 7 does out there in the field, and nothing showed up, then I may pop one in. But I will never shoot the first few deer that come out, and I'll let them sit out there a while. But he said that he just was unable to hold it together in that moment. In a couple of ways, like if it had any advice for him on, because when you do all this work and you get in that moment and you mess it up, one, pull your bow up, and you it's hard. When I first saw my very first true big deer, I texted my wife right after and I said, Lauren, I'm not ready. And this
Yep.
just shows you, I met my wife. I killed decent deer, but I mean the first Indiana, like it's supposed to be deer you see. Man, he came. I mean, he came. I seen. For one, the longer you see him, the more nerves you're gonna get. There's just nothing you can do. It's part of it. If you lose
Yep.
that, you might as well hang it up.
Yep.
But he came at me and I texted her. I said, I don't know how I would have shot him if he had, done this because I mean I had not even attempted to pull the bow back yet, and I was shaking and the only answer I had for that particular person was just more time and just really like I say, I tell people don't look at the rack. It can be a small rack, big rack. Once you decide you're going to shoot him, don't take your eyes off the vitals.
Yep.
Unless the deer is on DEFCON 9, then you really want to pay attention because you may have to yank one real quick for it
Yeah.
to turn or something. But that comes later on. That's more in detailed
More
tips.
advanced.
Yeah, but holding it together, and a lot of people in that moment eh, have that same problem. So he was discouraged, but he ended up. I was really proud of the kid. He stuck it out all year last year, and I think the last couple of weeks he made a bad shot on one opening day, which he had taken some advice that I'd given about hunting edges, and actually got a shot. And then we went and kind of trailed him and looked for him, and I think he just hit a little bit too far back. But he sent me a buck later on and was like, "Yeah, I did it." And,
Good.
you'd have thought that was 100. It was nothing to for him, great deer, but
Yeah.
he held it together, and it's harder than you would think. And for anybody out there that may be experiencing that same thing, it happens to all of us, and it'll calm itself at some point. So
Well, I'll tell you, everybody calls it buck fever, target panic, whatever. I went through it.
yeah,
And I'll tell you what helped me the most. I learned this from an old timer, like you said, uh, and it really calmed me down. I talked to this guy out at Fort Leavenworth in Kansas when I was out there. And gun season, I'm fine. Gun
yeah,
season,
yeah,
I don't worry about it. But it's always bow season. And got out there and I missed a decent buck. For me, it had been one of my biggest.
sure,
Well, at the time, it would have been my biggest, and he was just a basket 8. But I mean, for me, it was a big deer at the time. I missed him, and I was so upset. And I remember talking to him when I went to sign out. I was talking to him, and he's like, "Listen," he goes, "I went through that when I was younger." He goes, "I'll tell you what I did. You do whatever you do it however you want, but you come up with your own little prayer you say. And as
yeah,
you're drawing the bow, he's like, now this is where practice comes in, and you just start doing it every time you go out to shoot. You go out to shoot and you practice. As you're drawing the bow, you say your prayer, you get to your anchor point, you anchor, you settle the pin, you let it set for a second, you finish the prayer, and then you touch your release. That's it. Boom. No, don't pull it, just tap it as your prayer's done. And that way you're not focused on the antlers, you're focused on the vitals, you're focused on keeping
that's
the
it.
pin steady, and your mind's not thinking about, wow, this is a big buck. And that's what's worked for me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I've got
It's hard, man. It's hard to even, give tips on it because it happens so
oh yeah.
fast and so natural, right? Like, they may think they're different or they can't control it. No, that's a majority of everyone's problem. It's calming the mechanism in that moment.
Yep.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
Well, seeing now, like me, I've had 3 neck surgeries now.
Oh yeah,
I've had or no, I've had 4 neck surgeries. I'm sorry. I've had 4 neck surgeries, 3 shoulder surgeries, so I can't pull a bow. So now I'm using a crossbow. But even my crossbow, when I pull it up and I get it steadied, I get the crosshair steadied, I still say the prayer. I still do.
yeah, yeah,
It's just now it's become a part of my hunting.
yeah.
And now I will change it and I'll shorten it up if I have to. If the deer's getting ready to take off or whatever, I got to make a shot, then I will. But I say it over in my head as I'm doing it, and it calms me down.
I'll be honest with you. This is bad because you just said you say a prayer and all this and that. I say hasta la vista, baby. Yeah. That I promise you. That's it. Hasta la vista.
Hey, whatever works.
That's what works for me.
It's whatever works.
I've done that since I was 12 years old on my very first doe with a 12 gauge slug. I'll never forget it. I said, if this deer comes out, hasta la vista, baby. She came out. I don't know. And then I hit her in the hip. I was shaking so bad, but it's just something that goes back to core memory.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I still get excited when doe come in. Even if I'm not going to shoot, even if a small buck comes in, I'm not going to shoot. I still like watching them. I get excited then just watching them because that's how you learn. That's how you learn their mannerisms. You watch the ears, watch the head, watch what they're doing. And then when that big buck comes in, if he does the same thing, now okay, he's calming down. He's good. I got time now. I don't have to try to rush, as they say.
That's it.
I can take my time and just watch him, let him come in and get the shot.
I guarantee you, if you can beat a mature doe, right, and you let these mature does walk by you, if you can beat them, you ain't got to worry about no buck.
No.
You don't.
I've got a doe here at my place. I call the alarm system. And I know when she's coming because, like you said, you can tell some of them apart.
Yeah.
This one's missing hair on her side, and she's got a white spot up close to her chest. But it's between like her shoulder and her chest. There's a white dot right there. I know it's her every time.
Yep.
This doe, I have taken the scent-free shower, sprayed down. I've got an ozonics. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say I have one. It's worked for me on some occasions. Sure. Some occasions it hasn't. I've had all this stuff going. I play the wind. I even stay out of the sun. I get in the shade, all this stuff. And she will walk in. Now, with my area here hunting it, I normally climb about 25 feet.
Sure.
I get 25 feet up because if a deer's going to see me, I want him doing this.
Should be plenty high. Yeah, right. Yeah.
This deer will come in, and I've never seen a deer do this before in my life, and I've hunted many estates. She is, instead of walking in, looking in front of her, she's looking up the whole time.
Yeah, she knows you.
And she'll blow at anything. I have watched her walk in. So I've got a trail, an old logging road that I cut out with my tractor and got it all mowed down for them. So the deer come in, they come right into my food plot, and I've got it where it funnels down. She'll come in. There's a tree across the food plot by the creek bank over here. It's got a big knot on the side.
Yeah.
This knot's it's the size of a small kiddie pool.
Sure.
She'll come in and start blowing at that thing.
Huh. Have you shot at her before?
Never. Now I guarantee she's been shot at. I know she has.
I bet she has. Yeah.
But man, her eyes are constantly up. And then if she'll look my way, and I'm thinking there's no way. Because I've even went down here. I hate lock-on stands. I can't stand them. For me, I don't feel comfortable in them.
Yeah, I feel they can see them.
And that's how I feel. So I got in a lock-on one day. Me and a buddy went down over the hill. Well, the guy you're going to meet, Craig, we went down over there. We took this huge pine tree, cut some limbs out, and put this stand in the pine tree. Ladder on the back. I'm weaving my way through branches to get up to the stand and get in it. I've got pine branches that come all the way around me. I just got a little opening here to shoot out of. And she'll still start blowing and take off every time.
Huh. Yeah.
So I took the stand completely. I was like, I'm taking the stand down. Yep. I found another spot that I hunt on this food plot back over to the side over here. She hasn't busted. That was 2 seasons ago. She hasn't busted me since.
Yeah.
But she walks around with her head in the air, just looking at everything.
You need some doe meat?
Do that. What's that?
You need some doe meat?
Yeah. If I can just try it, I'm going to take it. I've tried for 2 seasons now. I never can get her in where I get a shot, ever. And then gun season rolls around, she disappears.
She's the one that's telling everything you're there, or
yep. She's busted me twice, not out of the same stand, but twice at the bottom of the hill in the creek bottom. One day, the first time she ever busted me, she was 175 yards away on a hillside. I'm on the other hillside. I don't even know how she saw me. I wasn't moving nothing. I was just sitting back out of the sun, just chilling. I hear her blowing, stomping. I see her. So I pull out the binos. There's that white dot. I was like, yep, the alarm system's out.
You know what I've seen? I've seen, this doesn't really fit your, situation there, but I have seen guys literally move at those in the woods.
Yeah.
And I'd rather grab that tree and let her walk on by me,
Yeah.
because the minute they know, they know. And if she's been shot at more than one, especially, especially if she's looked up, maybe
Yeah.
in that moment she's shot at, which gave her that moment to duck an arrow. If she saw what that was, that's probably why she's looking up so much.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it has to be. I learned a trick. So I did learn a trick, and people thought I was crazy when I first told them about it. And a buddy of mine, Leonard Wood, he started using it, and it worked perfect. He killed the biggest buck he's ever killed in his life using this trick. So, I was always taught as a kid, you wear camo to blend in.
Sure.
But then I see a lot of the old timers wearing, T-shirts. They're wearing
flannels like my grandpa would
stuff
paint
like that,
on them.
all different colors, and they don't care. So I thought, okay, what's this really for? Why am I really wearing camo and stuff? It's not really. They're killing big bucks wearing what they're wearing. What's the difference? So I actually got to meet a wildlife biologist that worked at the University of Michigan. And he gave me some tips. I was like, man, it's a really good idea. One of the tips he said to do was go to your tree stand. If you got a tree stand you like to hunt, like if it's a ladder stand or lock on,
Yep.
in the seat of that stand, put a silhouette target up in it.
That's it.
Leave it there. Leave it there all year long.
Yep.
Okay, so I tried it. It worked. I put it up there. Deer come in, look at that, and I'd have my camera across from it, watch them. You'd see deer come in to eat, and they'll look up at it, go right back to eating, browsing around, and move on like it's nothing. Then you go out there and sit in the stand. They walk in, look at you, and you're not even there. You're non-existent.
They do that in Mississippi. They put so in Mississippi, a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll hang a dummy head from a string.
Really?
And it'll just sit, and it's moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I've seen that before. I don't, but I've seen
about that. I may have to try that too. I've never thought of that.
Yeah, it's constantly moving. So.
Well, and something else he told me too is you get these guys, like I like to hunt out of a ground blind sometimes.
Sure.
And he was telling me, he's like, if you hunt out of a ground blind, set it in the woods where you want to hunt, and instead of brushing it in, go to your local, like I can't think of those stores now. It's like where people drop off clothes and stuff.
Goodwill?
Yeah, Goodwill. He says, go to your local Goodwill store and buy as many fake Christmas trees as you can buy. I said, okay. He's like, take those Christmas trees out and put those all around your blind. It'll just look like a big patch of fur trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's a good idea. So now I've got buddies that's the way they brush in their blinds. They'll put their blind in, they'll put those trees around it. That's how they brush it in. I was like, that's a good idea too.
Provides you a perfect spot to put some deer scent out too.
Yep.
Because ground hunting's hard. I tell you, ground hunting is the easiest way to get busted with scent.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you got to really make sure you do it right with that ground stuff. Because I say that every time I damn hunt from the ground, I kill a stud. So I mean, I don't know why I climb in tree stands anymore, but and ground hunting is usually one of those situations that I'm like walking through a piece of public and I'm like, I'm not leaving. I'm hunting here, right? I'm not ready. I'm not prepared for it. I don't want to make noise going up. That's when I see that big buck sign I was talking about earlier. Just like happened last year at Griffey Lake. That was that special hunt that I'm a part of. So, I seen that big deer sign, and I ain't walking nowhere else. I sat up against a tree, and that's another thing. If you don't have a blind or anything else, make sure your trees are bigger than you, so your silhouette is not in the open. But I hunted the transition line between the hardwoods and the cedar thicket, and I sat on the ground, and I just, my instinct said, don't go nowhere. Don't even another 60 feet. Don't go nowhere. And I sat down on that tree, and sure enough, 19 minutes later, here he comes. So ground hunting is different, but I like it. I tell you, when you drop it 20 yards and you ride at eye level.
Yep. Oh yeah. It's I will say it's intimidating. It's real intimidating sitting either on the ground, even turkey hunting. Turkey hunting's intimidating, just sitting up against a tree, letting them come into you. but sitting up against a tree letting a deer come to you, and you know they're going to come from this way. I mean, that's the way the trail is. Food's over there. They're coming over here to bed. They're coming by. Oh yeah, it gets the heart thumping.
I think I want to challenge myself this year. Yeah, I want to try to get down in one of them, one of them slough river bottoms with the cattails growed up, and you got them little areas of the thick stuff between your two big points. I want to get down in there and ground hunt, do some rattling, see if I can call one up like they see.
Ooh. I tell you what, man. Whew. I don't know if I want a buck coming in that close, fired up, ready to fight. I don't know about all that.
I've seen it done in Missouri. I've seen it done. Used to be that was just a thing of Texas. They used to just do that back. Back in the day, nobody did that ground rattling. That was all Texas. Well, now apparently it's growing up here, and people are killing some studs that way.
Oh, it's a big thing, but I don't know. So back in 2010, I was hunting with a buddy of mine in Kansas, and I already killed my buck. So I told him, I said, come on, I know another spot we can go to. He's wanting to fill the freezer. Hey, I'll take you to this little area. There's a lot of deer in there. We'll get you something on the ground. I can't guarantee what. We'll get you something on the ground. Well, he's hunting up on top of the ridge. I kind of went over the ridge a little bit down this little valley. It's probably 45 minutes, an hour before dark. I was getting bored. I saw a couple doe. Didn't really want to shoot anything. I'm going to climb down. I climb down, get my stand all packed up, get it on my back. Well, little did I know, while I'm folding my stand all together and putting all the straps on all this, he texts me. He had a big buck come right by him. He couldn't get a shot and was heading down the ridge towards me.
Oh, no.
I go walking out, and I've got my bow in my hand, do. And I hear a twig snap. So I stop. Now, here I am on the ground with my pack on my back, my stand on my back, my bow in hand, and this big 10-point walks out. Not 15 yards from me.
Ooh.
But his ears are back. He's all bristled up.
So he's all right.
I'm thinking, okay, something ain't right here. So I start looking around. Well, here comes this big 8-point down in front of me. They lock up not 15 yards away, going at it.
Never seen that.
Oh, dude, that was the craziest time I think I've ever had on the ground. I was like, nope. I start backing up, getting behind trees.
Hey.
I don't want one of them to get whipped and take off, and the other one turns on me. Then I was like, nope.
It gets pretty wild, don't it?
Oh, dude, that was crazy. And then it's like, well, they're walking up. Here come 4 or 5 doe just from everywhere, just walking in. I was like, man, this is wild. So I get my phone and I start recording. I got to record this because nobody's going to believe me. He ain't going to believe me when we get back to the truck.
Yeah.
So after all said and done, all the deer disperse, I get back up the truck. He comes out after dark. He's like, hey, man, did you see anything? Nah. I said, well, I saw one doe. I said, check out this video I got of this doe, though. So I hand my phone. He's sitting there watching that, just laughing. He goes, dude. He goes, that's the buck I told you passed by me. I said, I didn't know.
Why didn't you shoot one? I'm confused.
I already killed a buck. Yeah, I already shot my buck, so I didn't have to. So it was cool just sit there and watch. But man, that's why I say I don't think I could sit now in a box blind on the ground, or even a ground blind possibly, and rattle and stuff. But sitting on the ground, just on the ground, no, I'm good.
Well, I tell you, that'd probably be a whole new type of nerves.
Yeah. I don't think I want to have a buck come in ready to fight, and I'm on the ground. No, I'll pass. I'm good. I'm too old to run.
You don't want that smoke.
I have the luck though where, okay, yeah, I've got a bow. My luck will go to draw and something breaks.
Yeah. So, that's funny you mentioned that. He's not a buddy, but I'd say he's an acquaintance. His name's Jordan Barnes, and he has the YouTube channel Close Proximity. So if y'all have never seen him, he's a good old Georgia boy. His daddy's a preacher, so he's a good Christian man. So was it last year? No, I believe it was year before last. So he's in Illinois, public land, and he's sitting there and he's hunting, and he runs into a guy, or I believe not yet. So he's sitting there and he's hunting, and he looks up, and I mean, there's just mucha grande. I mean, typical, beautiful deer. Mm-hmm. He had no clue this deer was in there. He was basically hunting a river bottom, straight out of the boat, like pop up,
Yep.
Well, this buck comes walking down there. I mean, I don't know, probably 160 typical. I mean, just beautiful, if not bigger. If he
Oh,
had mass, he probably would have been a lot bigger, but I mean, he had the length. Uh, so Jordan, you see him in the video, and here comes the deer, and he's at like 15 yards, and you're already wondering why he ain't shooting him. Well, he goes to pull his bow back, and his arrow just goes and falls straight to the ground.
oh,
And he's like, "What's going on?" And he knocks another one, and the deer comes a little bit further, and he goes to pull it back, and dang, same thing happened again. His release had been broke, and he had not seen it nor checked it,
oh,
and he did not bring his backup release, so he couldn't do anything. Once he let those two arrows go and they hit the dirt in front of him, he had to watch him walk away.
oh, dude,
I mean,
oh.
it's all on video. It's on his channel. I mean, a stud. You have,
So
you have to watch that one.
people don't believe me when I meet them and tell them that I have the worst luck in the world. They don't believe me until they get to know me. So I think I told you the story about the piece of private ground I got here in French Lick. It's right in town. I saw it on the map, just like you, kind of checking out areas around me because we just moved back from Montana. I had to find a place to hunt. It's 2020. The pandemic's going. Everybody's freaking out. I'm still going to hunt. I don't care what out there is killing people. I'm going in the woods.
That's it.
This is my safe space. I got to go. So I'm looking around. I find this piece of ground. It was like 150 some acres, just probably a quarter of a mile down the road from my parents' house.
Nice.
I called the lady. I talked to her. She explains to me she doesn't let anybody hunt her ground, and she lives in Michigan. This is old family land that they used to own or they used to live on. I was like, okay, no problem. And she goes, let me ask you, what brought you back to Indiana from Montana? I was like, well, I retired from the Army and we moved to Montana and, we decided to move back here. She's like, oh, you're a vet? I was like, yes. Yeah, I'll let you hunt up there. I was like, no. You
No
don't let
change for me.
Yeah, I don't want to be special. She's like, no. She goes, I'll tell you why. She goes, I know you'll take care of my land. You won't damage it. I was like, no, I won't. I'll treat it as like my own. So long story short, I get a camera up there. Now they had logged it like 15 years ago.
Thick.
Yeah, real thick. And they had left these big fields where they'd cut all the trees out and left these fields there where they were putting the logs like a staging area, right?
Yeah.
Well, off the back of one of those, there's old logging roads that go back, but there's this one little area that they cut a few trees out and just left it open. So I thought, you know what, there's a pretty good trail coming through. I'll put a camera up on that trail. In 1 month, I got 1,000 pictures of deer on that trail.
It was unhunted property. I'm not surprised.
Out of those 1,000 pictures, I had 45 or 46 pictures of doe. The rest were bucks. I got this
know where that's at.
This one big mainframe 10-point that had this big dagger that came up out of the middle of his head coming up. Huge buck, 170 class deer easily. I decided then that's the buck I want. That'll be by far the biggest buck I've ever shot. I'm going.
You still chasing him now?
No, I lost that piece of ground 3 years ago.
That sucks.
I only got to hunt it 2 seasons. Yeah, it sucks because someone close to me is the one that lost it for me. I didn't. So I had talked to her and got permission for somebody else to hunt with me. I went in, we brush hogged all those. There was 2 big fields. We brush hogged them all down, put in food plots, did all this work to it, put up cameras, put up stands, all this stuff. Well, I decided one day I was going to go hunt way back in the hardwoods. There's a bunch of oak trees back there, and it's up on top of the ridge.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sitting in the stand, and I just happen to look down here at 85 yards, and here comes that buck walking along the edge of the ridge. So I am trying to push my body into this tree I'm sitting in. I let him get close to me. He's down here still about 80 yards, but he's walking this path down the ridge. So I'm trying to grunt to him, get him to come up. He won't come up. No big deal.
Yeah.
If he doesn't know I'm there, I'm good to go. I let him pass by, let him move on. I go back the next day, but I hunt up in the front. I thought, well, he was walking that way. I'll hunt up front. Maybe he'll come to me tonight. I set up there, all kinds of little small bucks, doe everywhere, never shows up. It's getting to that magical time in the evening. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of getting bored now. I hadn't seen a deer in about an hour. I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and start getting my stuff kind of ready. I'm not climbing down the dark, but I'm going to get my stuff ready.
Yeah.
I got my back to the field, and I'm taking all my stuff off the tree, and I hear something behind me. I turn around, and there he stands in the field looking at me. He just turns, walks away. Okay, so lesson learned there. So then about a week later, I go back. I hunt up there in the same tree in the evening. I see him coming down this old logging road to my right. He's coming right to me.
Uh-oh.
I've got my crossbow, so I pull it up on the shooting rail, take the safety off. I've got it, and the trail he's coming, he's going to pass right under me. He gets right here at 15 yards. Perfect broadside shot. Just stand there. Has no idea I'm in the area. I just slide over, put the crosshairs on the shoulder, pull the trigger. Nothing happens. My bolt falls off the edge of my thing, and my limbs just completely come undone.
Oh, God.
I look down, my whole crossbow come unstrung.
Damn.
At that moment, I thought, you know what? It's not meant for me to kill this deer. I'm not going after him anymore. I'll go after something else. It's not.
Yeah, I would imagine he saw that.
Yeah, he saw it, heard it, and I think probably the neighbors got pictures 3 counties over from him. He was gone. So I learned some very valuable lessons that season, but it just
every season you learn valuable lessons. I don't care if it comes together exactly how you planned it. For one, they come together exactly how you plan it. So rare that you have to learn something when it does.
Yes.
So I tell you, that's what I said. This is somebody, because being a new YouTuber and unknown, you have a lot of guys that say, "Oh, well, are you a poser?" No, I've been hunting my whole life. None of that stuff. I'm not doing it, for the fame or fortune or anything like that. But man, if I can help, someone be successful from learning all these mistakes that we've made, I'm gonna do it. So those they don't get done in them big deer. It's cliche, but they don't get that big for nothing.
Oh no. That's like we talked about last episode. They're not stupid. People can say they're dumb animals. No, they're not.
No.
If they were dumb, they wouldn't get as big as they are.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to do this episode, though, is to get your knowledge out there, because I've learned a lot from you just in the last couple months.
That's it.
And it's like I told my partner Aaron, I was like, listen, I really want to get him back on. I want to answer this guy's question, but I want to answer some more questions.
Yeah.
I don't want to say guys ask me questions directly when I'm out, but I hear guys talking though when we're out, like going to Big Oak Hunter, wherever.
You'll see it on the web pages, on the Facebook. Like there's people that ask these questions all the time.
Yes, and a lot of guys though, man, they get trashed for it. It's like, why?
Oh man, yeah, why? Yeah. You'll see me multiple times on there. Say, hey man, just send me a message, because these guys, no, just send me a message.
Yep. And that's the reason why I want to reach out to you the first time, because I saw you doing that with multiple people. It wasn't just one guy. I saw multiple people. Hey, hit me up. Hey, you've never hunted before? I'll take you hunting. It's like, okay, this guy is actually somebody that actually cares. So I thought, I want to hit this guy up and just see if we can get together sometime, go do some scouting together. I even told you in the first message I sent you, I don't want to know your honey holes. No. I've got some areas I want to check out. I want you to kind of tag along and kind of help me out here a little bit.
Yeah.
Because public ground can be intimidating. It really can. It's such a big block.
Especially here, Southern Indiana. I mean, it's just it is overwhelming. And you know what? And I said this, I believe, on the last podcast. Any ridge or system that you go pick and you scout is probably going to either have one or will have one at some point during the season. That's just how Indiana is, and these bigger bucks are coming up, because of all those years of the 1 buck rule, and we're really starting to see it pay off. So, I mean, it can happen at any time. You have to help yourself out with the bet. You got to break down each time of year as its own type of hunting that you should attempt to do. But at some point, as long as you don't give up. And I tell people all the time, and you'll see it in that video of mine last, that one I killed keep grinding because it can change at any point in time. So
Oh yeah.
that's what I like. I love to tell people, I've made plenty of mistakes, but I can surely help you try to prevent making some. And the biggest thing is eliminate. It took. I'll tell you. I'll give you an example. Like Wilbur, I don't hunt it anymore. So I had this guy ask me. He was like, "I just moved to the area from Oklahoma. Do you have any tips?" Man, I sent him every pin I've ever had at that piece of public, and I have highlighted. Yellow means killed deer or turkeys, and I told him
Mhm.
why he should hunt here and all that. So he's going to try that this year. So if he goes and kills one, he's going to be ecstatic.
Oh
He
yeah.
eliminated 5 years of learning, and some people don't like me because I've gotten hate because why won't you let them learn the hard way? Why not? I mean, why not? Yeah,
Yeah.
they can go out there and cut their teeth, but yeah, I mean, you appreciate it if you learn on your own. But at the same time, I'm not telling them exactly where to sit. I'm not finding the deer for them. I'm not pulling the trigger for them. They still got to go out there. I'm just trying to eliminate some of the time for them.
Well, and it's the same thing with when I started this podcast. I wanted to get the information out to any active duty or any vets that live
Yep.
around a military base that want to hunt it. But like we talked about, I always tell them to go check the regs because things change. There's nothing wrong with giving a guy advice. There's nothing wrong
No,
with that. I'm not taking him out and sitting him here and then walking over here and releasing a deer for him to kill. I'm not doing
that's
that.
it.
I'm just giving the guy a little bit more of an advantage than he had 10 minutes ago.
That's right.
That's just called being a decent human being. So what? I don't understand the problem, and that's why I'll be honest. I've left a lot of the hunting groups I was in on Facebook. I've left them because of all the hate.
Yeah, man, it's bad.
And I'll be honest, man. That's the industry.
That
That's the
is.
industry as a whole. Is you've got to kill a certain size of deer. No, you don't. If it makes you happy, shoot it. Shoot it. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not about this whole size thing. Now, I at my stage in life, I do enjoy the bigger, mature deer, but
Yes,
that just last year's an example. I killed that 8 point. That I've killed many of them. He was also at 5 yards on the ground with my
exactly.
crossbow.
See, and that's awesome. That's awesome right there all by itself. But
Yeah,
it's one of those things. I hunt with a buddy of mine, and he shoots whatever he wants. And I told him, I said, "That's good. I want you to." I said, "Me, what I try to do. I don't always follow it, but I try to kill one bigger than I killed the year before.
year
That's
before.
that's what.
Challenge yourself. Yeah,
Yes, I want to kill something bigger than I have on the wall. The one I killed last year, I can top it, but it's going to take some time. It's not going to. I'm not going to be able to do this every single year.
no,
So that's why this year I'm gonna go. I'm gonna challenge myself. I'll take a doe or two to put in the freezer, so I got meat. Me and the family we have meat to eat. But my buck tag is not getting pulled out unless it really gets me excited.
yeah, that's it.
It's
Yep,
just the way it
and
is.
that's why I shot. That one. Not to mention I'd had a rough season, but I only felt that way because I had put in so much work all summer.
Oh yeah,
It
exactly.
wasn't a failure season. I saw deer every time I went out and got tons of B-roll, but you know, you see people on TV do all this summer work, and then within the first couple of days they're in the woods, this big one comes out, and they're successful, and then this other kid, it's funny because he follows my channel now, but last year this kid went to Morgan Monroe State Forest, 17-year-old kid, never stepped foot on the property, went on an oak ridge and killed, I think, 165. First
Wow.
time he had ever stepped foot on the property. And I told him, I was like, dude, that's crazy. That's impressive right there. And he said, I didn't do nothing but be in the right place at right time. I didn't have any clue what I was doing. And that is true, but it can't happen if you don't go.
No, no, that's it's cliche, but I always say you can't kill them from the couch.
That's it.
You got to be in the woods to do it. And I
Yeah.
think I've been thinking about it for a while. I won't do it. I mean, I may do it this year, but I won't release it till next year. But I want to do an episode. If you want to come on, you can come on and we can do it together. But I'm going to do an episode about preseason preparation
Sure.
because even on public ground, you can still do preseason preparation. That's
Yeah.
all the miles you're walking, cameras you're putting up, areas you're scouting. Now public ground, I get nervous about putting cameras up because I've had too many stolen.
Yeah, you will.
but it's like it's a great way. It's a great tool to use for scouting. And I don't have to be there. I could be at home and let my phone do the work.
Yeah.
But it's like, at my place, I'm freshening up community scrapes all year long. I'm doing all this work. I about killed myself last week putting in food plots. It was
I saw that video.
Yeah, dude, I thought I was going to die. I talked to God at one point.
Let me out of here, dude.
Yeah, that's how bad it got. I mean, it was killing me.
Yeah, but that was a hot day, man. You picked one of the hotter days that you could have done that.
It was going to rain that day. I had to get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, this surgery put me down, man, where I couldn't do a lot.
Sure.
Time I needed to. So it's like, I've got this day. It's going to rain today. I got to get this in today. So from 11 o'clock that morning until 5 o'clock that night, that's what I did. I worked on food plots all day. And it's like, it's growing. It's growing. It's getting there. But, there's so much preparation that goes into it. A lot of guys don't think about, or even new hunters don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So it's something I want to do. And like I said, I may record it this year, but I don't think I'm going to put it out till maybe June or July of next year.
Yeah.
Because that way it's people can listen to it and say, okay, yeah, I still got to do this. I need to go cut shooting lanes, or I need to do this or do that. I want to get that stuff out to everybody. So, if you want to come on next year, we'll talk about that too. Because to me,
I know a lot of the prep on public, you can't do a lot, right? You can't cut, you can't do none of that. So you pretty much just what you got.
And that's what I was going to say. I know public's a little different than private. So it's like, but there's a lot that goes into it. And just because, and that's one thing I tell a lot of young hunters, just because you do that work doesn't mean you're a kill one. It doesn't.
No.
It just gives you a better chance.
Right.
That's what
now in Indiana public, don't get me wrong, just because you can't do it doesn't mean the state isn't doing a huge portion of the public land in the state of Indiana. And I assume this goes, they have to pay for that somehow. So majority of them have their own croplands. They have their own shooting lanes, I believe there's even some public in the state of Indiana that has their own shooting houses. I don't remember which one. Somebody mentioned that to me the other day. And then, like some of these areas have, like, you can get to draw a duck blind and go to it.
Yep.
Well, these places have deer blinds. You can draw them and go to them.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I'm still learning about that. But there's whether public or private, deer are deer. Deer don't know what a fence line is. They just know that this is, food over here, or this different food over here, or the bedding area, and them honeys from the summer, they were over there looking fine. And I'm gonna go over here and sniff that ground over there, and it's the chase, man. It's all a game.
It is. And I'll be honest, man, I'm really looking forward to linking up with you this year and hunting.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. I'm excited about that. If I can remember to call.
Yeah,
that's a good thing about that. When we start calling the first one in,
you got to text me with a backup though.
Yeah, I'll text you. I've got it laid out pretty much. I'm not saying that we're gonna kill anything, but I mean, because here's the thing: when I put the question out there, all of a sudden every area has a big one in it.
Oh yeah.
I knew better than to ask that question. I knew as soon as I posted it that, man, I watch every area is going to be covered. So I've narrowed it down to a few. I think we can get in and mess. Give us a couple of days. I think we can. Plus, I'm gonna go scout it too. So.
Well, let me know when you decide to do that, because if I got the time, I'll come up and we'll go scout together.
Well, I've actually been invited by a couple of other people, so we're going the 25th, 26th. I was also invited the 18th and 19th, and the gun hunt in November.
Okay.
But that don't mean I'm gonna do them all. Yeah. Because that's a lot of hunting.
That's a whole lot.
So
I've got a buddy that hunted up there 6 years. Now the 6 years, 4 years, he killed some pretty good sized bucks.
Oh, they're in there. I had a buddy one year, he killed 3 studs back to back to back. I mean, just because he drew the archery, which he killed a buck. Then he killed a doe, which gave him another buck, and then he went back for a gun hunt and killed another one. Gosh, studs. Man. All 3 of them studs.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the other spot we've talked about too.
Yeah.
So, which I wanted, when we get done with this, I'll talk to you through text. We'll figure out when you want to scout that.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I get back from my trip, I'm not going. Well, let me say it this way: depending on the weather.
Yeah.
I'm
See,
not
we're on the
going.
downside of that hot weather stuff now, so it should be pretty easy.
Yes. If the weather's pretty good in September, I'll probably take the weekend of I think it's the 12th. I'll probably go to Fort Knox and hunt that weekend. So anytime between I get back on the 6th and the 12th, or even after the 12th, we can get together and go do some scouting.
Sounds good to me.
I've been looking at the map and been looking at some of those spots you were talking about. And that's the one thing I was going to tell you. The guy we talked to that day up there, he was saying that there's ways they're getting out of the fence, out into those fields to eat, and they're coming back in.
Yeah, there's holes cut. They've dug them, either holes cut, or I put it this way, they're not cut. But what has happened is over time, they've either broken or pushed the holes, pushed the fence to make these holes.
Okay.
I've seen them. You can find them with deer hair on them if you walk the fence line.
Okay. Well, and that's why I wanted to go up there. I wanted to go up there, one, to just get eyes on the area.
Well, you probably heard that about that up there. I guarantee you probably heard that about, way up north.
Yeah.
Because that's where they are.
Yeah.
That's where I know there's holes up there.
Yeah. And that's the guy told me, he's like, yeah, your buddy can come on and hunt as long as you're with him. And that was the rule change they had this year, is we have to stay in eyesight when we're in the stand. But they never said you couldn't use binos.
Is that so? That's Fort Knox?
No, that's the other place up here.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, we got to be within eyesight of each other.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I thought that's still 200 yards. I can still see you.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, we're gonna. I'm gaining some information already about that one spot.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I just wish we could. I wish. And this is old school hunting. No cameras, no nothing. Yeah. This is deer hunting here, boy.
It is. But you know what though? I'm kind of excited about it though. I really am. I'm kind of excited about it because it makes it more challenging.
Man, I just see that deer that handicapped gentleman from last year killed. That just
Yes. I went back and looked at the picture a couple of days ago. I was like, man, that's a giant right there. And there was 2 of them killed that week.
Yeah, they're every year they're in there. They're in there.
So that's why I said, man, you let me know what your schedule looks like, and
all right,
and we'll head up there. Because I told the wife, I said, listen, the last day of September, I'm going up there. I'm getting a hotel room. I'm putting all my stuff in the room. October 1st, that's where I'll be. She's like, okay.
Yeah, that's probably where I'm gonna be with you October 1st. That's the plan. Yeah.
I'm all for it then.
I'm gonna do. Well, we can hunt morning, go eat some lunch right outside the gate, and then get back in there in the evening. But yeah,
I'm cool with that. I'm just hoping this downside of weather stays this way now. I'm hoping it doesn't decide to go back up and get stupid again in September. So
I got my winter coat, my beach ball, my towel, my umbrella, my waders, and my snowshoes all in the truck. We good.
I'm bringing my hunting boots or my camouflage Crocs. One of the 2.
I've got it all.
One of the 2. That way, if it's hot, I'll just climb in shorts, Crocs, and shirt. I'm ready to go.
Yep.
So, well, man, I'm gonna let you get back to the family. I'm gonna go here and eat some dinner.
Sounds good. I got to cook up. We're gonna try a new recipe tonight with some deer meat, I think.
Oh yeah, what is it?
Well, I'm making these taking these bow tie pastas and trying to make like a kind of like a Cajun cheesy recipe, and then do a filet mignon in chunks.
Oh yeah,
like out of a tenderloin. Get these little pieces about this big and some creamy cheese. So I'm trying to switch stuff up. The wife was we went to my daughter's softball game today, and she ran into another lady, and she hunts, and she was talking about hunting down here. And I was like, well, why don't you, talk to my wife a little bit? And so they started talking about, different recipes and stuff. So I'm like, well, hell, maybe she'll get in the woods then if she can figure out, So I'm going to try to, I'm still trying. It's 10 years in, still trying.
Oh yeah. I try every year. My wife got into it for a little bit, went out and got her all the clothes, got her a bow, got her all this stuff. And then she's like, it's just not for me. Okay.
Yep. That's all right.
Like that.
Yeah.
Hey, you gave it a try. That's all I can ask for. I'm cool with that.
Yep.
So
well, I hope you get, this is helpful to some people, and we'll get it out there and hopefully get some responses from it.
I think it'll be good. I wanted to get the information out to people. If people are gonna, go on Spotify or YouTube or wherever and ask questions and stuff, man, I want to get them the answers.
Yeah.
And like I told my partner, I was like, Jeremy's the best guy to ask. He was the one that did the episode. He's the one that has more experience hunting public than I do.
Right.
So that's why I text you, hey man, you want to do another episode? Let's do it.
Do it.
So I trust your advice more than anything. So that's why I said I want to get with you and do some hunting too. So.
Yep. We're about to make it happen. So.
Oh yeah, I'm excited, man. Well, go get some dinner. Tell the family I said hey.
Alrighty.
Relax a little bit, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. We'll see you later.
All right. Take care, man. Peace.